Own Company Motors, we have two really special people that have two really special mechanics, machines. They're amazing. First one is Sebastian. He has this amazing 4.6 from 1998. And then we have the amazing Shirt with this 2002 4.6 Range Rover. This is gonna be an episode you don't wanna miss, so let's go.
Sebastian, this is my 1998 Range Rover P38, 4.6 HSE.
Shirt, this is the P38. It's a 2002, the last year of this body. Basically our favorite car for a minute.
An icon. For me, I think it was seeing a lot of movies, film, television, Sopranos, Belly, Jay-Z music videos. I think this car for Range Rover has some of the best print catalog ads too, where like the brand was like so self-aware about how they positioned
classic.
it.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Just like, making these jokes and kind of like pulling you in, and like, it showed that like Range Rover had a sense of humor, which I thought was pretty refreshing. Kind of like, you can think about like British culture, it's not something that you expect, but they took it and they had some fun with this one.
For me, I guess it started with like boxy trucks in general. I've always really liked a boxy truck. And there's like a few classic models that I've always looked at. But then of course, yeah, if you grow up in New York in the 90s, can't really escape the lore, the Rocafella, Jay-Z, era. I had the car in my head for a long time as like just like one of the most beautiful trucks I had ever seen. And then I gotta just say this, because it's one of these things. You talk to anybody that like actually knows about cars and things like that, people will straight talk you out of it. I mean, like,
yeah.
we
got one of our boys tried, so he has like what, a 2002, 2003 Discovery.
Yeah.
And he was like, just don't do it.
Like, as with anything, you're always gonna run into people that try and talk you out, especially like, it's not just the cars. Like in general, I think this is like a thread in my practice, in my career, where it's like we're already doing things that like many people would try to talk you out of these
100%.
career paths, right? Because there's all these risks and things like that. But it's really like your experience with the shit, right? It's like
shit that you got into, not with the idea of like, oh, this is gonna be comfortable. Not that this isn't comfortable. This is my first car.
This is his first
I didn't
car.
have a license before I got this.
My man bought this.
I grew up in
no
Brooklyn,
license.
born and raised.
Yeah.
And I always had this idea of this car in my head. I was looking at a couple other things. It was like this, like early 2000s BMW X5. And this was just like, from like hustlers in Brooklyn to British Parliament, like this was it.
Yeah. I don't know, yeah, it definitely straddles the line of like rugged with like luxury, because you still feel like some of the lines on the inside, just it's very clean in that way, but you still feel like you're in an old truck.
First time I drove this, I was shook because I didn't have a license yet. When I test drove it. No, actually no, I did have the license. I just got my license. I had my license for a week, so I wasn't really comfortable driving just yet. But this kind of like, being so high up, being able to see, check my blind spots with ease, because like honestly, like looking out the windows is like fucking HD.
Right.
That's
the thing, people don't really realize you get into a car and you usually have all this like metal and shit, and it's usually like this very closed view. These cars are basically known for like
panorama kind of vibe.
Like the panoramic view. So it's not your typical ride. You get in and you feel the difference, I feel like. It feels very spacious in a way.
Yeah.
You kind of have a view of the road in a really cool way. And so I've been thinking about little things that I could do to it. One of the things that you're talking about is eventually I was like, how crazy would it be if I converted it to electric? Where it's like a Tesla engine maybe, or I don't know, it might be fuck Tesla, so we might have to do something else. But yeah, I don't know, making it electric on the inside to keep that old body on the outside, but new on the inside. So I don't know, I'm thinking about it. And we've been talking about it, but it's like, it's kind of hard to do, and they're not really ready to do the converts yet. It would be like a big deal, but I don't know, I'm thinking about it.
For me, I think I'll keep this shit all gas. I got a little bit of a little doomsday kind of mindset.
That's
so when shit hits the fan and
that's right.
This grid or whatever, our iPhones and everything gets wiped out, I want to, be able to make it down south and not have to worry about no chargers or anything, just me and some good old petrol.
So I basically found it on an auction site, and a lot of times you see these auction sites and the cars are not anywhere near New York. And this one happened to be in Queens. And so when I saw that it was in Queens, I actually reached out to the owner and I was like, I know this is on an auction site, but can I come see it? So he actually let me come see it, and I test drove it before I bought it from the auction, which was very, very cool. I got to like bring it to my mechanic and do all that type of shit. But this is actually a very specific thing. So I'm not gonna say the name, but a legend in streetwear, very, very legendary dude. We did some shit together, and that was the money that helped me actually buy this car. So it had like a extra special thing to it because like it really came from like work.
I did the auction thing too, and it was cool because like, you know, the auction, you know, you might have been buying from a dealer or an individual, but somehow, some way they could get you your paperwork, your license. But I just kind of saw that you were kind of paying a premium for that.
Yeah.
So I actually found this one on Facebook Marketplace, and actually I saw a few from Facebook Marketplace. And this one I also got off a guy in Queens. At the time, my pops was living.
They got the heat.
Yeah, my dad was living out in Bayside, and we went and saw it. And yeah, the dude who sold it to me, he was I think still currently, he's a driver for the United Nations. And like this was like his daily whip. He was like, you know, I've had this for the past 15 years. It's a very lucky car. I still talk to him. He'll find parts in his garage and hit me up and be like, yo, come pull up and come pick this up. You know, that's just like one of the things I realized as I was looking for one is like how big of a community it is. And like, even if you don't have one, bro, like just people just want to talk about it with you. If you have questions, like all the Facebook forums, the Land Rover forums online.
That's the thing. You tap into a real community. Like people for so many years, this is a love story. It's like on some romantic shit, basically. Like, and so when you get it, you know, you don't have to be in the community, but you're kind of just like ushered in a way.
Yeah.
It's interesting. So when I talked to the previous owner, there was one point where he was like, you're gonna really like that from the driver's seat, when you're parking or you're backing up, the back of the whip is the back of the car. And when he said that, I didn't really understand, and I was like, okay. And he was like, you're gonna really like that? But I was telling Seb, like, it's actually a thing. Like, because these cars are so old that they usually don't have the back cameras or anything like that, it's actually a really nice thing that when you look back, you see the back of the car, and it's actually the back. Because you see how it's like flat in the back? A lot of cars don't do that. So that's cool. To be honest, as far as like things I don't like about it, I don't like when the shit doesn't work. I don't like when the shit beeps a lot, right?
It does. Every time I get in, it's like yelling at me. My
It's like
seatbelt's not
yelling at
on.
you. It's always like
fucking ABS.
Yeah.
Gearbox overheat, whatever.
When you like read about these shits, like people are basically like a lot of the way they built these doesn't make sense at all. Like it goes against logic. I don't really, I don't care about none of that shit like that.
It's character. The tech is difficult and not so seamless, but it's character.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's like one of those things. I truly, there's nothing I don't like about it. I mean, it's a pleasure. I gotta be honest. It's just a pleasure.
I like a lot about it. I like the lines. I just put the roof rack on. I think it did a lot for the look of the car. I love the headlights. I love how it sits. I love looking into the windshield and seeing the seats and the piping on the seats. I like the wipers on the headlights. I like the fog lights. The fog lights look dope. Even if I don't need them, I'll put them on sometimes because at nighttime it looks kind of hard.
How's that look? I know.
The badges. There's not a lot that I don't like, at least cosmetically or physically in the body. I like all the little details that make it uncomfortable. It's not some like new 2024 joint. I get in there and shit makes noise and I don't know where the noise is coming from, and like that's part of the fun about it. It's like, what is that? What just creaked?
He's fronting mad hard. That should be that should be mad stressful.
It is stressful. It is stressful
because you really just don't know sometimes.
But when you figure some shit out, it's so rewarding.
Okay, that's true. That's very, very true. And I just want to say also, like with the shit, if you come over here, even for this shit, like you really have to make a decision. And you could like be one of these people that's cleaning the shit all the time, but there's something about the shit's like looking very like used. I don't know. It's like there's something about like that whole like when you see somebody in like the $1,000 sneakers. It's one thing when they're brand new. It's another thing like when $1,000 sneakers beat up, because then you know it's
you
like,
got your stripes.
But we taking this, we go upstate all the time. The shit looks so good with some greenery and fucking, I don't know. I just like the shit looking lived in that way.